One handle, two platforms, that handle is the only fingerprint they can't forge. If anyone DMs you for money, wallet addresses, VIP access, or signals, it's a scam. I sell nothing, ever. Now type Kyo in the comments if you're locked in, because Robert Kiyosaki just hit the panic button again, and whether you love him or hate him, his message spreads for one reason. It gives people a simple story in a moment the market feels unsafe. And today I'm going to do something most creators won't do. I'm going to give you the map without the hype. I'm going to show you what the Yahoo Finance piece is actually based on, what Kiyosaki actually said, why the $200 silver number is going viral right now, and the single mistake that will wipe you out if you treat now like a signal instead of a trap. Quick transparency. I tried to open your exact Yahoo Finance link, and it's blocked from my side with a 429 too many requests error. Yahoo syndicates partner content here, and the same article text is available on MoneyWise, which is the source Yahoo is publishing under this headline. So I'm extracting the material from that partner write-up and building your script from it. Now listen. Your title says, Robert Kiyosaki buying silver at $95 now. His $200 war prediction is unfolding live. The most dangerous word in that title is now, because now is how people get rushed into decisions at the exact moment volatility is highest. Right after a move, right when the crowd is emotional, right when silver is designed to punish certainty. So I'm going to break this into three parts. What he claimed, why it spreads right now, and what has to happen for $200 to be more than a viral number. Here's what Kiyosaki actually said in the syndicated write-up. He posted, biggest crash in history starting. He framed it as the downturn he says he's been predicting for over a decade, pointing to his 2013 book and claiming the crash has arrived not only in the US, but globally. Then he attached a mechanism that makes this go viral because people can picture it instantly. He said AI will wipe out jobs, and as jobs disappear, office and residential real estate will crash. Then comes the conversion line, the line that turns fear into action. He wrote, time to buy more gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. And then he emphasized silver with the line that causes the internet to lose its mind. He called silver the best and the safest, and said silver is $50 today. He predicts $70 soon, and possibly $200 in 2026. That is the extracted material. Now I need to be very precise here, because credibility is everything in this niche. The source write-up says $50 today in the quote. It does not say I'm buying at $95 today. So why is your title saying 95s? Because silver is trading in a much higher regime right now than the quote in the article suggests, and people are mapping his $200 target onto the current tape. And that's exactly why this is unfolding live in the public mind, because the market itself is already acting like a stress regime. Investopedia's market brief today has silver around the mid-90s and gold around $5,400 amid escalating Middle East conflict, oil jumping, and a risk-off move in equities. For Kiyosaki's quote, to ground the current pricing environment clearly, here's a mainstream reference. Investopedia described gold surging to about $5,400 and silver rising to around $95.40 in the same risk-off context. Kiyosaki material. So Kiyosaki didn't create the stress. He amplified it into a story people can act on. And in silver, story can become flow. Flow becomes momentum. Momentum becomes belief. Belief becomes the most dangerous thing in markets. Certainty. Stop. Here's the trap. The crowd hears possibly 200 and immediately does dopamine math. If silver is around 95s, they see a 2x, and the brain loves 2x. But markets do not pay you because you love a number. Markets pay you for surviving the path. And the path from $95 to $200, if it ever happens, is not a straight line. It's a staircase with trapdoors. Because silver's defining feature isn't direction, it's violence. Now let's talk about the war prediction phrase in your title. The article we're extracting from frames his crash warning around AI job destruction and real estate fallout, plus a broad buy hard assets basket, gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum. It doesn't quote him making a specific war prediction inside that write-up, so the honest way to connect it is this. People are interpreting his crash thesis through a wartime lens because markets right now are already responding to geopolitical escalation with safe haven flows into metals. War is the strongest symbol of systemic instability, so even if he didn't literally say war, the crowd uses war as the visual for his thesis. Chaos, inflation risk, shortages, uncertainty. That's why his $200 line spreads faster when gold and silver are already surging. Now stop. Here's the second trap. Kiyosaki is not a timing tool, he's a sentiment amplifier. He moves attention, he moves narrative, he moves identity. He creates a binary world. Either you're the one who gets wiped out, or you're the one who was prepared, and the crash makes you richer. That's powerful psychology, but psychology is not a trading plan. So here's the question that actually matters. What conditions would have to persist for $200 to be plausible? Not guaranteed, plausible. Because possible is cheap. Anything is possible. Plausible means a set of conditions that can persist long enough to carry price, not just spike it. For silver to trend toward a number like $200, you typically need some combination of sustained macro stress that keeps demand for hard assets strong, inflation risk or energy risk that keeps real yields pressured, a confidence shift where people distrust paper promises and want tangible exposure, and some form of tightness or scarcity psychology that makes sellers reluctant. Kiyosaki's story supplies the confidence and distrust piece. He's explicitly framing this as a crash and telling people to buy scarce assets. But the market decides the how, and the how is behavior. So here is the single most important behavioral tell in silver. This is what separates a viral wave from a structural move. When silver dips, do buyers disappear or do sellers disappear? In a hype wave, buyers vanish on the first hard red candle. In a regime shift, sellers vanish because people don't want to part with hard assets and uncertainty. That's the difference between a pump and a repricing. Now your audience will ask, okay, but he said $200 in 2026. Does that mean buy today? This is where we increase retention by telling the truth people don't want to hear. You can be right about direction and still lose money if you're wrong about timing and volatility. Silver is famous for doing this. It convinces you the move is inevitable. Then it drops hard enough to make you doubt everything. Then it rips again without you. That's how it removes weak hands. So here's the responsible map that still keeps urgency. Treat $200 as a scenario, not a promise. Treat now as a volatility warning, not a confirmation. And track regime signals instead of targets. Now I'm going to give you the 48-hour watch list that makes this content useful, not just entertaining. Screenshot this mentally. 1. The hold test. Does silver hold its gains after the initial surge, or does it give them back quickly? If it gives them back quickly, the move is mostly narrative and leverage. If it holds and consolidates, the market is absorbing supply, more consistent with a regime shift. 2. The leadership test. Does silver start outperforming gold on up days? That's the crowd moving from pure safety into upside safety. That's when silver becomes the public's hedge. 3. The dip response test. When silver gets hit, does it snap back fast? Fast rebounds mean buyers are waiting. Slow bleeding means buyers are uncertain and the move is fragile. 4. The narrative spread test. Does the conversation broaden beyond one influencer? Kiyosaki isn't only saying buy silver. He's pushing a basket. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum. If broader mainstream coverage continues framing this as a sustained risk-off environment, the narrative has fuel. If coverage quickly pivots to de-escalation, that fuel can disappear fast. Now let me close the loop on your title one more time. Buying silver at $95 now. The source text we can verify says he referenced silver at $50 and projected possibly $200 in 2026. So the honest script line is, Kiyosaki is still pounding the table on silver. And as silver trades in the 90s, that makes his $200 scenario feel closer, which is why this is going viral now. That keeps credibility intact. Now I'm going to end this the OG way. 3 takeaways, plus 1 cliffhanger, plus disclaimer. Takeaway 1. In the syndicated Yahoo MoneyWise write-up, Kiyosaki posted biggest crash in history starting, tied his crash view to AI-driven job losses and real estate fallout, and framed it as a global downturn. Takeaway 2. He urged buying more gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and specifically floated a silver path that includes possibly $200 in 2026. Takeaway 3. The danger is timing. Viral targets create certainty, and silver punishes certainty with volatility. The right way to play this is to watch behavior. On dips, do sellers disappear or do buyers disappear? And here's the cliffhanger. If this really is the beginning of a scarce assets as insurance regime, the next dip in silver won't be a collapse. It'll be a test. And the way buyers respond to that test will tell you whether $200 is just a meme or the start of a real repricing. This isn't financial advice. This is financial warfare education. Drop Kiyo if you want me to map the next update the moment he posts again, or the tape changes character.